Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to Midnight Customs. So today we're continuing progress on the CNC plasma table build. This has been a long, drawn out, taken way too long. Stuff happens, whatever. Anyway, so in this video, we're going to work on making some mounting plates for the legs. And then we're going to put these fancy little leveling casters. Now, I ordered these from Vevor, and I think they were $50, something like that. Not terrible expensive, but they have a little ratchet on here. And what this ratchet does is it extends or retracts this rubber foot. So say your floor is not level and your table is doing one of these, you can put this foot down and adjust the height so it just sits flat. You're not doing one of these numbers. You know what I mean? So they don't come with a tool that goes in there, and I don't know if they make one, but I think, well, first of all, they're not hard. Even with weight on it, it's not hard to do. So also, I'm just guessing here because I haven't tried it. This is a piece of 1/4 inch round bar. Here's your hole. You can just kind of stick it in there, or you can fabricable something that will slip over this and do it. But like I said, it's not a big deal. Grab it by your fingers. There's plenty of meat there to grab it. Anyway, so what we're going to get to is these come in a pack of 4. You get 4 of them. And in that pack, you also get mounting hardware. Nuts, bolts, washers. I think this has a lock washer on it also. And they're Phillips. Mounting plates, pre-drilled. By the way, real quick, this plate is 3.5 inches either direction. So I went down to the local steel yard today and I picked up a 4-inch piece of 3/16 flat bar. 3/16 will be plenty strong. This table's good for like 1,200 pounds, something or other like that. Whatever. Point is, this is going to be perfect. So in this video, what we're going to do is we are going to section this down and drill it so we can get those wheels mounted to that. And then what we'll do is we'll test fit the wheels, make sure the holes all line up and everything bolts up good and proper. And then we're going to lay the table on its side. We're going to weld these to the legs on the table. Now, with that being said, 3.5 inches, 4 inches. The 4x4 legs, square tubing legs that are on the table are 2-inch. Actually, let me double check that. Because they're either 2 or 2.5. They're 2x2 square. Now you know that. And this is a Langmuir Systems 3x4 table. So if you got one and you're wanting to put some roller wheels on there, by the way, putting wheels on all your heavier stuff is really great. Makes it super easy for maneuverability. Chip, the shop poodles here. And so we're going to get that going. So what you're going to need is some way to cut your steel, whether it be a bandsaw, an angle grinder, the cutting disc, a plasma cutter, whatever. Tin snips aren't going to work on that. So we'll get that going. Let's get the camera set up, and we'll get right to the money part of this. All right. We're going to take this first one and put it right up to the edge. These are actually whiteout pens, correction pens. They work great. All right, we got that lined out. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to mark out our holes real quick. Just like that. Now, we can do the smart thing, which will make stuff a lot easier because you got all this meat to hang on to, and put this in the drill press and drill that out real quick. But what we'll do is we'll take an angle grinder, and we're going to cut on the outside of all that. That way it's a perfect fit. And also, like I said, this is 3.5. This is 4-inch. Depending on how neat and clean you want things to look, you can either just cut it straight down and leave the excess, or you can cut it down to fit proper on that so it's all flush. Choice is yours. Whatever you decide, if you're going to leave the excess, you got these sharp corners right here. Just kind of round them off, because the last thing you want to do is catch your shin on it or something like that, your ankle. They don't feel good. Now, it's always a good idea to clamp your workpiece down, especially when you're cutting or drilling. You can do it however you want, but I don't want it to walk on me. All right, there's our first one. Now, if you use an angle grinder, those friction discs will heat up your piece to, right around 200 degrees. So don't touch it right away. And that right there is why you should always clamp your workpiece. Now this is a chamfering bit. It does a couple of things for you. I'll show you real quick. So on this side here, what we did was we used it to deburr the hole. And on this side, we used it to actually chamfer the edge to give the bolt a place to seat down into. So you don't have to do this. You can. It does serve a purpose, but for what we're doing, it's probably just an extra step that we didn't need to, but I wanted to. So. All right, so here's a little trick if you got a welder at home. You can use MIG, stick, TIG, flux, super glue, whatever. Anyway, this will make things easier for when you're drilling out your holes. You can get them lined up on one piece and drill all 4 or 3 or 2 or 1, whatever. So what I did was just put a tack weld across however many you got to tie them together. Do 2 sides, that way it doesn't splay out on you. And then take that, put it on, get it lined up, take your pen, mark your holes, and then we're going to put it right up over there. All right, folks, so we got all our pieces cut out, we got them all drilled, and right now I have everything test fitted to make sure that, one, I drilled the holes in the right spot. Very important to do. I have made that mistake and had to start over. So these come with some pretty good hardware. And that's what they look like. So this was the first piece that I did, and this was the trial run. So now we've got 3 more all mocked up. Everything fits. And then I took a marker and I marked out where we're going to trim this mounting plate. So that way it's nice and clean like this. And if you got animals or you're not wearing the proper shoes, you don't cut yourself on that or get your pants hung up. So we'll take these all apart except for that one, trim all that down, and then we should be good to go with it.
I need to just start going and I'm going to get in there.
All right, so now that we got all this done, you can do this in about an hour. No big deal. Just take your time. Make sure you got all your marks out right. Now what we're going to do is clean this stuff off the top of the table. It's just a couple things we put up to get off the floor to clean it. Then down here, see that shiny piece down there? Well, that is a screw and foot. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to tilt the table over on, you know, this way, because you got the motors back there. And then we're going to weld these plates right to those feet. So I hope this was super helpful on making a mounting pad for your casters. And you can do this with any casters that have a mounting flange on it. There are other casters that just have a stud that sticks straight up the middle. You can totally do the same thing with those. You would just drill a hole center of your mounting plate and then weld the corresponding nut to the inside of that, or the top side. Basically, it would look, except this would be dead center right there. I hope you guys found this informative and super helpful. We appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and drop us a comment. Let us know what you think. This is Midnight Customs. Thanks for watching.